Greetings, Internet. Welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. Well, that might be my standard greeting for the last 3 years, maybe 4. And that was built up from different greetings from different channels I watch. So, yeah. Am I still going to use that? I think so. It sort of defines me and my channel, and when I actually come on to do these kind of things, and obviously make the videos that you guys seem to. Now, careful use of a word here. Seem to enjoy. Tonight, originally, wasn't going to shoot a video. Woke up in the middle of the night, going, "Oh man, I can't sleep. What am I going to do?" I thought, you know what? Let's go make a video for Battle Hymn. Next step. Came in here, looked at the last video that was being released on for Battle Hymn. Vaguely disappointed. Doesn't cover it. I was very disappointed in how many people actually watched it or viewed it. As it stands, 28. Now, this is why I said this is a bit of a rant. Why 28? I've got 1,393 subscribers. There's meant to be 1,393 of you out there that are interested in what I do. Yet, it gets 28. Now, I know not all the subscribers are going to enjoy that particular video, but 28. Okay, it's tough. The enthusiasm to make these videos is hard to achieve. I could sit here, play Battle Hymn quite quickly without shooting a video. Why do I do these games or videos? Well, I did it originally to play these games that are sitting on the shelf of shame. I also like talking about games. I mean, if I wouldn't have a channel in the first place. I also like teaching games. So I thought that might be the best way to do it. And obviously 1,393 people have agreed and subscribed and joined. When I look into some of the analytics, apparently half of the people who watch the videos aren't even subscribed. YouTube just blows my mind. Why only 28 views? I just don't get it. Obviously, there's something in the algorithm. There's some reason why this is not being spread. I'm doing this live with no prep or anything, so if people come in and join and watch, ask questions, that's fine. I'm not here to... it's just something I've got to get off my chest. So this will be uploaded. It will be on the live section. So, yeah. But that was the original plan. Well, I say plan. I woke up in the middle of the night. Couldn't sleep. I've got neuropathy in my feet, which means that quite frequently my feet go rah, 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 and they grab all, and I just can't sleep. So I wake up and think, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, yeah, I've released episode 5 of Battle Hymn, and I've actually got 2 more waiting in the wing that have been shot. But I thought I'll shoot a few more. I've been sort of putting them out to every 2 or 3 days. And I thought, yeah, let's do it. Go on to the computer, go and have a quick look on YouTube. 28 views. Fair enough. All enthusiasm to make another video, just crash and burn. Anywho, I'm here. If anyone wants to join me, more than welcome. As I say, this is unplanned and such. Well, I'm just going to talk. Now, first off, I'd really like to thank, because I haven't had a chance to do so. I was going to do it in my next channel update. This is now the next channel update, which includes the rant. I really would like to thank my channel members. Now, I've had channel membership going for about a year. I've got 8 channel members. Okay, great. Again, I watch plenty of other YouTube channels, and they all say, please join membership, do this, do that. And they've got, considerably more subscribers than I've got. Great. People want to watch their content more than mine. Yeah. My channel emphasizes playthroughs. I know some do book unboxings. I know some do reviews or first thoughts or such. Well, I've done a few first thoughts. When I get a new game, I sometimes do, oh, look at this. I don't want to just sit there and go, in the box is this. You've got this, and have no idea what the actual game's about or whatever. I will not review a game unless I played it. I don't understand. And giving it a good solid playthrough so that people can see that I know what I'm talking about and why I'm talking about it, and hopefully encourage you guys, if I like the game, to get the game. And if someone sends me a game or whatever, or I bought a game and it's duff, I will say it's duff. If it's great, I will say it's great from my perspective and why I think it's great and why I hope that some of you guys will enjoy it. But I'm not just going to sit here and just make videos about games I don't know anything about or are not interested in or whatever. It's just I play these games because I want to play them. End of. If people want to watch me play them, great. But judging by my views and such forth, you don't. So I'm coming to the realization that maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe it's just the way I project myself. I don't know. I do get good messages, comments and such forth. And I say at the end of my videos, please comment because I enjoy reading them. And I do get, on the most, good comments. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, you brought me back to this game. Or you've helped me learn and understand this game. And those all help and encourage. And yes, it's great to get that feedback. The amount of feedback I get, which is negative, is minimal, but I do get some negative feedback. One guy ranted on continually about my missing some reaction movement rule in Vietnam. Go and look at, if you can, my Vietnam 1965-75 and look for reviews from a guy called GenCon. He kept on and on and on and on and on about missing reaction movement and so on. Now, these games are complex. There's a lot of rules, a lot of things to think about, and to actually get everything right, I ain't going to do it. I will do my best endeavors, and I admitted to the ranter that I had made mistakes. I admitted that all the videos I shot up to that point will have that mistake. Well, now I've got the game sitting on the shelf and thinking, do I want to play that? No, that was a post playthrough, and I will continue playing that game with that person who I was playing with. He'd missed the reaction movement as well. So there's lots of things that we miss in these games, and I'm hoping that my channel will encourage people to A, try the games, and B, help me pick up on the mistakes. If Mr. GenCon had actually just gone, look, you missed that, blah, 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 this is how it works and such forth, A, that would have been good for everybody else watching. B, that would have been good for me. Cool, yes, I've got that now. But to go and say, no, your videos are rubbish, well, he didn't use the word rubbish, but it was implied, and of no worth, was, well, quite demoralizing. However, as I started on this little bit up there, I really do appreciate the memberships that have been taken out because it helps me and helps the channel. How does it help the channel? Well, my channel is monetized. I don't earn a significant amount of money from it, but it does allow me every 2 or every 3 months, because games are getting more expensive, to buy a new game. The latest game I bought from the channel intake, this is a heavy box, is this one. Mr. President, listen to it as it hits the table. I mean, that is a hefty thunk. Now, again, I started. I made a few shorts and I made a musical. Just a bit of fun. The reason why I haven't actually done as many videos as I normally do is my daytime real job that does pay me the money to pay for the roof, the rent, the electric, and everything else like that. It gets very, very busy between the months of, let's say, April, May, and June. I work in a school. I am a school's exams officer. In the UK, April, May, and June is the big end of school examination period. Year 11s, so that's just 16-year-olds doing their big GCSE examinations. I do all those. I plan all those. I set up the rooms. I organize it. It's a big job. Sometimes I'm working 14, 15-hour days. So the last thing I want to do is when I come home from work is actually play a game. But I can sit there and read some rules. I can sit there and play around with a bit of music. And that's what I've been doing, just to fill the time, just to actually keep myself going. At the weekends, then I shoot a few videos, hence why I've been doing the Battle Hymn and so on. Because Battle Hymn, I know, I don't need to read the rules in detail. Yes, I still check because, I still can make mistakes. But I don't need to go into the kind of details that I do if it's a new game or whatever. So it allows me to play. Also, I've stopped the playing others in my playthroughs. Why, you ask? Well, it's because by the end of a day that long, my polite has run out. So my ability to be polite to even my friends and family has diminished because I've used it all at work, being polite to all the students, being polite to all the teachers, being polite to all the other people I work with. By the time I get home, I'm like, so I've told my opponents that at the present moment, I am just stopping live playthroughs. Well, I haven't done live playthroughs, but, using my log-through playthroughs. So I'm not playing any games on Vassal at present because my polite has run out. Maybe that's why I'm having a rant now. Could be. I mean, I could do in a month's time, look at this video and totally regret what on earth was I doing. But that was the theme. I came home from work today. I read a bit and such forth, gone to bed. Feet decided, you're not going to sleep. Come up, do Battle Hymn and see that. And I was like, oh, bloody hell, what is the point? Then I read a few of the reviews and I think, well, that's the point. When people give me nice comments and say, yeah, you're doing a good job and so on. Anyway, this has taken me off the track of what I was talking about, what I spent my recent money from. That's what the membership helps a lot towards. Now, it's £2 a month, £1.99. I don't know what that is in American dollar. Probably not much more than, $2, whatever. That makes a significant amount towards me getting new games. And that's what it's about. I can justify to myself occasionally buying a new game, but I've still got games on the shelf that I haven't played yet. So, but if I'm going to bring it to the channel, which I thought I would do with Mr. President, and that's why I bought it, it all helps. I don't have enough subscribers or viewers because the amount of money you earn from viewers is by the videos being viewed. I don't have enough viewers who are doing that for me to earn lots and lots of money to buy lots and lots of games. And I don't want to buy lots and lots of games. I want to buy a game, get into it, fully understand it, and then play it, and then bring it to the channel. And that's what I try to do with Mr. President. So originally I set it up on my gaming table. It took up the entire gaming table. I made a little short about that. And I had to buy a separate little side table to put on some extra charts and such forth. Played the first year, thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, right, okay, I think I'm ready now to bring this to the channel. Then decided to use a camera to actually properly film me doing it. And I did a little bit of it. But no, I just couldn't do it, because kept on knocking the camera over when I was reaching across the board to move a little counter to show that the unrest level or status level of an area had gone up or down or such forth. And I thought, this is bonkers. There's enough table space for me to set up the game, but there wasn't enough table space for me to play the game for the channel, and hence why I actually decided then to put it onto Tabletop Simulator, which I've used a few times for other things. And I like Tabletop Simulator. I mean, I like Vassal as well. Vassal's great for when I want to play someone in America and such. For Tabletop Simulator, I dabbled with it playing Fields of Fire. I dabbled with it playing a few other things, and I prefer Tabletop Simulator in many ways to Vassal. Why? That's a good question. I work, as I've said already, in a school. A vast majority of my job, when exams are not running, is on a computer. Spreadsheets after spreadsheet after spreadsheet. Okay, emails, all the other office gumptions and stuff that you actually have in there. So when I come home from work, the last thing I actually want to do is look at a computer. And Vassal very much looks like a computer game in the sense that you're looking at the computer and such forth. For some reason, though, Tabletop Simulator doesn't. And I don't quite understand why. But it is that. It has... Even though, again, you're still using one of these, a mouse, and one of these, a keyboard, it feels a lot more tactile. So, hold on, let's see. Hello, you can ask anything. I'm putting this in the chat. I see a few of you are there. If you'd like to ask me anything, that's what I'm here for. At the present moment, I can't sleep. I'm not in the mood to game. If you haven't watched it from the beginning of the video, well, you'll understand why. I've just been a little bit demotivated by the lack of people actually watching what I talk about and do. So, yeah, that's why I thought, you know what, I'll put Mr. President on the Tabletop Simulator. So I download it. So I've got the Tabletop Simulator. I've downloaded the module on there, and it does allow me to play the game and yak without knocking things over. And I'm using the real booklets and such forth. And I've also got PDFs of those, which I then bring up and show what I'm doing and so on. And it seems to work. Yeah, I much prefer playing with the real bits. There was quite a considerable period of time, nearly 2 years, where I was really struggling to play with the actual counters in games and so on. You've got them in there because of the living. I didn't have a gaming table. I moved into my current location August last year. I have a permanent game room. Okay, my table can take 2 maps, standard like SPI stroke DMT stroke whatever game maps that you can imagine, and a push. Ideally, 1 mappers. If you've watched my Panzer Group Guderian videos, most of them, it's a 1 map game. Fits on the table nicely. What I do is I put it on a board, and then I can move that board around. So I've got a dining room table outside where we occasionally eat food and play some role-playing games and so forth. So when I want to play something else that I'm not filming, or as you notice, I quite frequently have 2 or 3 or 4 games going at the same time. I mount them on boards, stick the board outside, or stick it on top of the bed, and then play something else, and then bring it back in and shoot the video and so forth. So I can get 1 game map easily on my table, which allows me to play 1 game map games, quite frequently. Mr. President is not a 1 map game. It has a standard map, plus an expansion map, plus additional charts and tables that need to have counters all over them. So its footprint was huge. Plus, there's a lot of text that's on the board for Mr. President. And that text needs to be read whilst you're leaning forward across the board and you're trying to keep the camera going, and the camera gets, as I say, gets knocked and such forth. It just was like, yeah. Hence why Tabletop Simulator. Vassal, I use for my opposed games. And that way I can keep the log file. And then once I've got the log file, I can then generate a game and explain what's happened and gone on and such forth. And this is one of the reasons how I met Tom. He watched my log files for Air and Armor and contacted me, and we now play Air and Armor, and it's been great. And I've met him now at a couple of gaming conventions, and we played Air and Armor, and it's been fun. And that was all from Vassal. So why might we using the Vassal logs? And he said it was a really good and interesting way to have me teach the game, because it's either I played it solo on Vassal or I played it opposed on Vassal. But when I'm going back through the log files, like I say, I did this because I did that, because I know that rule and that did that, and this, and how it all sort of interconnects. Because sometimes when you're playing live play, you just yap. Okay, and again, especially when I'm playing something like Battle Hymn or Ambush or Fields of Fire, when I'm playing with the actual physical bits and so on, you don't maybe do enough explanation because you're thinking of other things. And that's how you sometimes miss rules, because you're thinking about A, you're trying to keep the video sort of as entertaining as possible. B, you're trying to keep the rules in your head. C, you're trying to make actually some coherent strategy so that it makes sense. And you're trying to teach the rules as well. It's a lot of, you feel like that little Greek kid spinning those plates. There's a lot of moving parts to keep track of and such forth. So Mr. President was introduced to the channel. And currently my first episode set up on easy level has got 60 views after 3 days. Now, as I said, I've got 1,393 subscribers. My subscriber count seems to go up. Yeah, it's going up slowly. I'm not, gaining vast amounts. And so when I first started this channel, I thought if I even get 10 people listening to me, that's great. I started the channel with the aim to just play these games that were sitting on my shelf, which is now done. However, is this actually working? Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Don't know. Let me know in the chat if you can't actually hear me. I have no idea if there's any voice coming out on this at all. I know I've got this new microphone, again, bought with the proceeds from the channel. It's connected to the computer, and it can connect to my iPhone, which is what I use for my camera. And that was a revelation, how detailed and zoomed up that can actually get to. So yeah. So we're talking about Mr. President, weren't we? So yeah, so when I got 60 views on that, I thought, oh, blimey. Is it because I've done it on Tabletop Simulator? Is it because there's lots of other people making videos on Mr. President? Which it probably is. We are in, I don't know, it's YouTube heyday, but there's a lot of people who watch YouTube videos. I'm one of them. And I do enjoy watching YouTube more than actually watching normal telly. I watch the big people in art. I mean, I am subscribed to, I've got lots of subscriptions that are not based on games, but I'm subscribed to Zilla Blitz. Love his channel, absolutely love his channel, and his approach. I keep on thinking, should I do more top 10 lists? I don't seem to play the amount of games that he does. I don't know if he has a day job or whatever, but if you haven't watched his channel, do so, because he has some interesting insights. And living in America gives him games are bloody expensive over here in the UK. I'll say that much. Also, I don't know how many games he gets given or gets the opportunity to prototype and such forth. But that all helps his channel. I unfortunately can't do that. And quite frequently, when I do get a game like Mr. President second edition and such forth, there's so many videos being released by Americans because the game's already in their country. They get the game 2 to 3 months before I do. And that's fair enough. I understand that. It can be a little frustrating, but hey ho. However, such as games as Battle Hymn, he says, put the box upside down. Where's the camera? There's the camera. There it is. And so on. I mean, this game's been out since 1986, so there's no swings or roundage there at all, is there? And it allows me to play the game and go into quite a lot of detail. I don't worry about, am I actually competing with somebody on this? And that side of it doesn't bother me too much. What I don't understand, though, is, and as I said right at the beginning of this video, is how I can have 1,393 subscribers and yet only 28 views on the video. Now, I do mention, please subscribe, the notification bell. Do any of you actually use it? I know I do. When Zilla puts up a new video, bing, bing, bing. Right, it's not that loud, but you know what I mean. It comes up on the phone. There's a new video. Doesn't mean I'll watch it straight away. And I don't expect any of you lot to watch any of my videos straight away. Maybe in a month's time or whatever. But still, I don't understand the algorithm, how it works. But I would have thought I would have got more views on Ambush or Battle Hymn, because those are the ones that a lot of people keep on making comments on and saying they want to see more of and such forth. That's why I keep playing them, because I want to play all the scenarios in there. But I could play them on advanced site faster without doing all the video recording and such forth. And that's sort of what it comes down to. I want to play these games. I want to talk about them. I think it's worth talking about. I mean, Ambush, if you haven't got Ambush, get it. It's an absolute blast. Battle Hymn, I'm enjoying the missions, but it hasn't got quite the grab that Ambush has. Maybe that's because it is quite different in its way of doing things, in the sense of yeah, all right, okay, the basic mechanics are the same, but it is in the Pacific. The Japanese are a completely, obviously different opponent, and the way they work and such forth. But I think I just don't think it hangs together as well as Ambush. The paragraphs don't quite make as much sense. In the previous mission I was doing, there was a Japanese Zero that took off and started strafing, but the rules were vague. It wasn't really covered in detail, whereas Ambush has been as tight as I can imagine any rule set from 1984 or 83, whenever Ambush came out. So I don't think Battle Hymn, and I can verify that by the amount of errata, was as well play tested as Ambush. But I am enjoying both. Fields of Fire. I did a lot of Fields of Fire last year. I haven't touched so much this year, primarily because other games are competing with it now. I did a bit of play testing for the new 3rd edition. No, it's not 3rd edition, Volume 3. I didn't do anywhere near as much play testing as I wanted to do, primarily because of time. But I did do a little bit. So I noticed that the GMT have advertised that they've got the new box for that and such forth. All I can say is what I play tested was fantastic. I can't go into any details about it for obvious reasons, but what I did play worked, was interesting, was different enough from the deluxe version in the sense of the campaign feels. So yeah, if you haven't P500 of that, I would suggest doing so. If you're in any doubts of the system or the way it works, it's for a solo game, it's fantastic, because I like anything that's got lots of decisions. This is one of the reasons why I don't like things like the Hunters, B17, because they're narrative driven. Not got a problem with that, but they lack that decision tree. I like making or being made to make decisions. Mr. President has decisions in bounds. Fields of Fire, yep, the same. The Hunters, not so much. You can choose your target, that's about it. All right, yeah, okay, sorry for all you people who love the Hunters and those submarine games and so on. Yes, there are a bit more decisions than that, but compared to things like Fields of Fire and Mr. President, they don't even come close. So, what does that leave me to do for the rest of the night? Well, as I say, I was going to play Battle Hymn, just carry on doing it. Another mission. I don't think I'm going to do that now. I might actually, because it's easier, I might do a Mr. President. I have shot. Episode 1 went up 3 days ago. Episode 2 is due to come out 2 days' time, or maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. So, and that was the first activation. Not even the first. It was the special activations phase. Yes, things take me a bit of time on that game, and I want to explain the rules as I'm doing so and such forth. So I was going to do that. Shoot, the next one will be the first activation phase. But as I said, at the present moment, I'm like, I could just play that first activation phase and not worry about recording it, film, and such forth. And I'm tempted to do that, which is very, very sad because I enjoy the interactions with you guys. So, and that's my rant, really. What I can do to promote this channel, I've offered membership. Someone suggested doing something, buy me a coffee. I've tried that. The only person who's bought me a coffee is me, testing it out. So that's obviously not working. So let's go now through the like, subscribe, comments part of it. Okay, so I watch a video. If I watch the whole video and enjoyed it, I click the like button. Okay, no matter who, what, where. I don't just watch wargame videos. I watch board game videos. I watch football videos and such forth. If I've been entertained by somebody, the minimum I can do is like the video. You know, it doesn't cost a penny to just click one of those or press that to just go, thanks, mate. That helped. Enjoyed that, and such forth. So again, when I'm getting 60 views to a channel, to a video, and then 7 likes, again, you sit there and think, what? Am I doing something wrong? Because it is no effort. If it was like, okay, I've got to go into this sub program and sub routine, and got to do this and I've got to do that, then I can understand it. Yeah. So again, it makes you think, well, maybe my videos aren't entertaining. Maybe, you know, and again, the viewing figures sort of show that they're not. So at that point, that's where the comments come in. Let me know. What am I doing wrong? What isn't entertaining? You know, I said I do get quite a few comments from different people saying that was good, that was useful, and such forth. But obviously, there's a lot of people out there that aren't making comments who might not enjoy what I do. Because I've had a few dislikes on videos. You know, that I know YouTube doesn't show those, but the people don't say what they dislike. So how do I know? How can I improve? How can I make things better, more entertaining, more interesting, and such forth? Unless someone tells me. So that makes it a bit tricky too. Anyway, let's stop the rant part. I mean, occasionally I might delve back into it, but let's talk about what I actually was hoping to do with the channel, and I've still got to work out if I'm going to do it with the channel, because this is becoming a little bit tricky. in the sense of time and work and such forth for the next month. I'll be playing games at the weekends and occasionally uploading videos until the end of June, and then time frees up a little bit from work. But the question is, will I still be motivated to do it? Because with 28 views on a game that apparently a lot of people do like is a little bit soul destroying in a way. It's true. I don't want to end the channel, but I can play the whole mission of Battle Hymn in probably an evening. If I just sit there and just play it, I could probably do a year in an evening of Mr. President. Bringing it to the channel slows the whole process down because I've got to film it, upload it, edit it. And don't get me wrong, I don't do much editing. I'm not going to sit here and like take out every You get what you get. But when I've made an obvious, absolute gaffe, that's when I will edit it. So, yeah. Moving forward, though, I'm going to be doing and playing for myself, and then eventually bring it to the channel because I want to get to understand the game. So, I had a game that was donated to me by one of the channel members, which is Saigon 75. Now, so far, I've been looking at it. I've read the rules. I've set the map up and was going to play the solo variant and went, I don't do this because the rules for the solo don't work. Couldn't work out what the blinking hell what to do. So obviously at that point I delved a little bit into Board Game Geek and such forth, and yeah, the solo mode's broke. It appears to be broken. However, someone is making an app for it. Now, I have an iPhone and their app is going to be on Android. I don't know if it's compatible, but at least I can have a look to see if it is possible to run the solo mode. If I can't, then I'm going to play it opposed, or play it solo opposed if you see it two-handed. Will it work? No idea. But as I said, the game was donated to me, and I think it's a stunning looking piece of work. Now, the big game I've done on Vietnam in the past was Fire in the Lake. So that behooves me. We'll play that. Then I could do a comparison video. I also, I've been promising it since I last did Fire in the Lake, which was 4 years ago, that I would make another playthrough of Fire in the Lake, playing it solo as the NBA player. I played it the first time as the US player. Again, too many games, not enough time. But I want to do that, and I also want to do it with the now there's a yellow box. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it was the earlier period that is not covered in Fire in the Lake. Oh, blimey! Anyway, it's one of the expansions. So I thought, I've got that expansion. I even made or shot a couple of photographs of it, saying this will come to the channel soon. About 3 years ago. Well, yeah. But yes, so I think, yes, Saigon, then maybe Fire in the Lake shortly after, not 3 years. Then I can do a comparison video and talk about that. But so at the present moment, I want to finish Battle Hymn. I want to do Mr. President. Then it's Saigon. That's the release schedule, shall we say. I've still got a game of Air and Armor that needs the game is finished that me and Tom done. I can give you a spoiler on that. I didn't win. There we go. But we can see how devastating my defeat was once I actually do upload that on as a video. I'm also playing Stalin's Favorites. scenario 2 from that. We are paused on that. I think we're on to turn 6. We haven't shot any further, but the aim is to finish it. I want to finish it. It's not going well for me. That's fair enough. But the main reason why we stopped, well, we actually started playing a bit of Burning Banners, me and Pierre. But I want to get back to that, to the Stalin's Favourites, to actually finish that on the channel. I'm a little bit, to be perfectly honest, about Stalin's Favourites, a bit disappointed. I suppose we could go back into rant mode with this one. Okay. We played the first scenario. This is both me and Pierre. He played the Soviets, and we both looked at this about halfway through the game and thought the Soviets haven't got a hope. There was a lot of tank riders in it. A lot of his infantry could identify as tank riders. And the tank riding rules were appalling, not very well written, contradictory, all three. Was not happy with them at all. Neither was Pierre. So we asked questions on Board Game Geek. And there was quite a bit of a discussion on Board Game Geek about the tank rider rules. Now, going through the scenarios that are in Stalin's Favourites, a lot of them use tank rider rules. I won't say all of them, but there is a lot. So how was this module play tested? If the tank rider rules aren't working, even the person that wrote the scenarios has now decided to change the rules because they might have worked in his head, but how was it play tested with others if they're not fully understanding? That first scenario was so unbalanced, it was ridiculous. The second one we're playing now, Pierre's playing the Germans, I'm playing the Russians. I wouldn't say it's unbalanced, and tank rider rules are minimum. They haven't actually come into effect yet. But because of the playtesting feel we had from that first scenario, the second scenario, I'm not sure how well balanced it is because we haven't finished it. But it feels, as the Soviets, you're just sitting there to take a kicking. I'm taking a kicking. There is little or nothing I seem to be able to do. Now, I wouldn't say my setup was ideal. I try to defend everything. If you try to defend everything, you end up defending nothing. But the sheer amount of firepower the Germans can lay down is phenomenal. I do not like scenarios where if you're on the defensive or you're just taking a kick in, the aim is to survive. Now that scenario does have a little tweaks and turns in it. You're trying as the Soviets to narrow the German approach, stop X amount of Germans getting off the map, and then if you can, then cut off so that the area of penetration is restricted. Okay, so there is options there, and as I said, we haven't finished it yet, so I can't fully criticize it. But from that first scenario, when you realize that the tank rules weren't obviously properly play tested because if you had to do a rewrite of them, it just seems flawed. Now, I've also played, I haven't brought it to the channel yet, a scenario from Old Breed, which was the module before, the Marines in the Pacific. I've played 2 scenarios from that module, and they've been excellent. So something's happened in the play testing between Old Breed, because I played Ghost Panzer. All the scenarios I've played from Ghost Panzer, excellent. Even the first module, but the Band of Brothers, Screaming Eagles. Every scenario I played from that, and I haven't played all of them, but every scenario, excellent. Texas Arrows, excellent. As I say, Old Breed, I've actually filmed. I've got the whole the whole game logged, and I will be doing what I do with the log files and such forth for old breed, but I was going to finish Stalin's Favourites. I didn't want the 2 modules up at the same time. But the Stalin's Favourites, this is the second scenario, and I'm sitting thinking, this is not that much fun. The first scenario, I was playing the Germans, and I was doing the kicking, and even doing the kicking, I wasn't having much fun. Yeah, it's weird, because the premise should be excellent. You know, late war, or 42 onwards, Soviets, Eastern Front, and so on, big tanks, but it's not so far. It hasn't made me go, ooh. I do want to finish the scenario because it's, you know, we're playing it. It needs to be finished. And from the German player's point of view, he's having a blast because he's firing everything he needs and doing everything he needs. So it's fun. From the Soviet point of view, you're just taking a kicking. Now, I had a similar experience with Fighting Formations, the new one. Okay, myself and Tom played this at Vanguard, and we actually played 2 scenarios for Fighting Formations. One from the new one, the 29th, Blue and Grey, and one from the Großdeutschland. Now, we played the one from Blue and Grey first, because it was the latest one. We thought we'd give it a try. Man, was that an awful scenario. It was, again, the defender could do nothing. I think it was scenario 11, but don't quote me on that one. It was the Germans sitting inside a village with a, a ditch around it or something like that. And the Germans had 1 command point, and that was it. And it was so restrictive on the Germans that I conceded. I was playing the Germans. I conceded in the end from boredom. I was bored to tears because there was nothing I could do. And Tom didn't really enjoy it either. You know, he was winning, but it was like, yeah, it's just running rings around the Germans. They just can't seem to react. They can't. Why would you put that kind of, maybe put on the solo scenario to teach you how to use this, that, or the other, but actually from a player's point of view, no. We played then a scenario from Großdeutschland. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Went to the wire. Okay. I was defending again, but I had options. I did have command points. My defense was slightly flawed, but I had enough options to counterattack with my tanks when they finally did arrive, and because I was playing the Soviets, I was defending a hill. Again, I think it was scenario 2. Again, don't quote me on that one, but it went to the last turn, pretty much to the last die roll. I lost it, but it was fantastic. So my experience with the 29, I was Tom's bought the 29. I was like, yeah, this is a beautiful looking product. But I'm like, why would you have a scenario like that in the box? What is the point in having a scenario where your aim is to survive? Yeah. Those are when I used to play a lot of ASL. If I saw that kind of scenario, no, there's too many other interesting scenarios to do. So yeah, that could tell my enthusiasm of buying Fighting Formations 29th. I've got Großdeutschland. I've got the expansion for Großdeutschland. I've played a few scenarios a couple of years back and enjoyed them, and then replaying it with Tom. Well, we're going to Vanguard again in October, and one of the things we're going to be playing is Fighting Formations, which will be from Großdeutschland. Is that a lack of play testing? Well, I definitely can say that from Stalin's Favourites. If they've had to change the rules for tank riders, you can say, well, why wasn't those rules picked up and noticed beforehand? How well play tested were these scenarios? Now, I know, again, with Fields of Fire, I've been in the Discord group for that, for the new one, and there is lots of comments. There's lots of discussions about rules. So I know that is being fully play tested because I've been slightly involved. Not as involved as I wanted to be, but enough. Air and Armour, I've been a little bit involved in some of the play testing on that. Again, nowhere near as much as I would want to be, again, through time. But I know there is a considerably large group of people that are playing it and play testing it. So I feel confident that the scenarios that do come out, and all the scenarios I've played for Air and Armour so far, they've all been interesting. They have all had challenges for both sides. In the latest series of videos where we were playing was the Wolf's Jaws, it's been difficult for both sides for different reasons. The asymmetrical system of the game encourages different problems for both sides. So it's about problem management, not just unit management on the board, but especially when you've got more than one formation per side, which formation to activate, why are you activating it? Again, as I've said, I like those kind of decision trees. I like to be made to think why, what for, why am I doing these things? And that brings us all the way around to why I play games in the first place. It's, yes, I do have a competitive nature. I used to be very, very competitive many years ago with ASL and such forth. I do like to win, but I like to learn the history. Now, Air and Armour is about a history about something that didn't occur. Fields of Fire is about something that has occurred. Mr. President is a game with decisions and such forth about something that might have occurred occasionally. So that's why I enjoy these things, is not just the competitive side, but also the historical side. I like to delve deeper into the games and so on. And that brings me a little bit back to one that I've done recently. Well, let me actually get the game. Hold on there. Okay. Donning the Sacred Heart. Okay, I shot a whole lot of videos regarding that game, and that's a game that came out in the UK, so I got it pretty early. I was actually given the game by the designer, and it's taught me a lot of things about a period of history I thought I knew a lot about. Apparently I didn't. Based in the French Revolution, about the Vendée counter-revolution. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I was at the Square Bashing UK convention near Gatwick Airport. And blew me away because there was a lot of different and interesting concepts in there. Oh, someone's actually chatting with me. Afternoon from sunny Melbourne, playing Enemy Coast Ahead Dam Busters. Okay, so my question to you on that one is, how many decisions are in the game? It's not one I know. I have seen it, Enemy Coast Ahead. But I have now come up with error, try again. I don't know what that means. So how many decisions are in the game? Hopefully that cures any errors there. Because that's why I play these things. And I've made a comment about the Hunters and B17. You're along for the ride. You're rolling dice is telling you a story. You're rolling the dice is telling you a story. I get the same from playing a fighting fantasy book. You're rolling a dice, it tells you a story. When I'm playing something like Ambush, yes, I'm rolling a dice, it's telling me a story, but I've got like multiple decisions. Do I move that guy first or do I move that guy? Does he fly? Does he support fire? Does he throw a grenade? Does he do this, that, and the other? Same with Mr. President. Okay, I've got a domestic crisis. I've got a crisis in the Middle East. I've got something to resolve against the Soviet Union. Oh dear, the Indians and Pakistanis have gone to war with each other. Which one do I deal with? I played quite a few of the D-Day games. D-Day at Tarawa, D-Day at Omaha Beach. Are the two I've played. I want to bring Peleliu. Again, done a picture of Peleliu. I'll release this at some point. Have I? No. So yeah, I enjoy games with decisions. So Kill 121416. Thank you for responding. Brilliant. Not that many decisions, but not that many, but only in the initial attack missions, expecting more in planning and flight phases. Okay, is it your first time playing the game? Now, I've played and admittedly sold some of the DVG flight series, or Phantom Leader was the one I had. And what was the one with the helicopters where you attacked tanks and such? Well, I can't remember. I found that they had a lot of decisions when you're actually choosing who your crew were and such forth. But then when you actually got into the game, there wasn't that many. It was like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And that's why I got rid of Phantom Leader. Again, I know there's a vast amount of people out there who enjoy those style of games, and great. At the end of the day, whatever gets something onto your table and you're playing it and it's not a darn stupid computer game, go for it. And I should make... I don't want to criticize people playing darn stupid computer games, because a lot of computer games, especially computer war games, aren't stupid. They're interesting, but it's the tactile feel for me. Thunderbolt Apache Leader, that's the one. Yes, I think that was originally a GMT game that was redone by DVG. And again, with that, same with Phantom Leader, you planned what bombs you were going to carry. You planned it, the payload of the airplanes, or I suppose in Thunderbolt Apache, you put the actual helicopters payload. But once you'd done all that planning, at that point, when you actually got into the mission, it didn't feel like you had that much. It was almost on rote. The version I have was what the GMT one or the DVG. So yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't get Sherman Leader, or I think there was Tiger Leader, or any of them. And I got a similar experience with Warfighter by DVG, because I was playing Warfighter and I was very disappointed with it. It just didn't seem to work. And I knew this was before I bought Ambush. I've been wanting to get Ambush for bloody years. And eventually someone put Ambush on, I think it was on Facebook, or they were selling it on a Facebook thing. And at a very reasonable price, with all its modules, plus the tank one, whatever that one was called. And I bought them. I thought, tick, I'll have that, please. And then I brought Ambush to the channel. And then I thought, there's just no comparison. None whatsoever between Ambush and Warfighter, in the sense of how interesting the game was. Warfighter was, yeah. I had quite a few of the expansion decks. Yeah. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere, and I'll probably never go back to it. So I don't know what is it. Kill? No, it's Kili. Kili. Sorry if I went and killed Kili. So you got Thunderbolt Apache Leader. Tell me what's the appeal? Am I missing something? You have mentioned there enemy coast dam busters. There are decisions to be made in it and such forth. How does the decisions compare with that to Thunderbolt Apache Leader? And do you have any other of the Leader series? As I say, I don't. I originally had what they did. Alexander the Great leader, was it? And then the Napoleonic one. Now, I didn't get the Napoleonic one because I had Alexander, played it, and went, I just don't think those games really are for me. But I fully understand there are people who do like the narrative games. Otherwise, no one would buy them, would they? But for me, a solo game such as D-Day at Omaha, D-Day at Tarawa, the amount of decisions I've got to make in those is phenomenal. And that's what I want. I want that. Okay, do I move that squad there? Do I move the squad here? Do I, well, they are squads. Are they squads? No, they're companies. So the application of where I put effort is dynamic. It's consistent. It's something I have to think about each time. It's not like we say with the Leader series. I've planned the mission, and now it's en route. It's something that is evolving the whole time. Same with Mr. President, which I mentioned, and Ambush is evolving all the time. The story, the narrative. So yeah, now with that slight divergence there, let's go back to Dawn in the Sacred Heart. That's not a solo game. That is a 2 multiplayer. I did do it solo on the channel, and it works solo. I'm going to be playing it probably today. When my daughter comes around, we're going to be playing a game. We've played 2 games so far. She came very close to winning in one of them, not so close in the other one. We're going to dice for side and play it now. I'm not bringing that to the channel, but I'll probably give an update and say how it actually went. But I'm very keen to play this game again, even though, as I say, I'm not bringing it to the channel at all. However, one game I will be bringing to the channel at some point. Now, as I said, I've already said Battle Hymn, Mr. President, then Saigon, will be Bonaparte's Eastern Empire. So this is the same system, but it's the first game in that system, Limits of Glory. So why have I backtracked? Well, I only found out about the series when I went to the Square Bash gaming convention. Just to make a little slight announcement now, Square Bash 2027 has been announced. January, end of January, beginning of February 2027 at Gatwick Airport, or near Gatwick Airport. So any of you Americans that are over there want to fly over to come to a British convention, all I can say is good location, good food, good hotel, brilliant games. That was 2026. I can't think 2027 will be any less. So shout out to Andy Rourke, because he's the person from Form Square Games who organizes it all. So that was an email I got today saying that 2027 is planned. I think it's the same hotel. So yeah, all I can say is calm down. But I was introduced to the Limits of Glory series at Vanguard, at Square Bash 2026, and yeah, good games, good system, like it. Lots of decisions. Yeah, luck's quite heavy in it, but it's along the same sort of lines as ASL. There's so many die rolls that you've got to make that it balances out. You know, thinking back to a lot of the old game systems where you have making one die roll for your attack, and a 1 was great and a 6 was rubbish, or vice versa, and you were making maybe 5 or 6 crucial die rolls every turn, and you get 4 of those go against you. It swings it a lot. When you're making, like in ASL, it's a long time since I played, it's nearly 11 years since I played ASL, but if you have a bad streak of rolls, it can counteract quite quickly because you're making so many rolls on the dice. So with the I've forgotten the name of the series now, Limits of Glory series, you are making so many rolls. Everything is pretty much decided by rolls, in the sense of the decision of what the activations, the amount of activations you get, the battle results you get, and you can re-roll because you can once, and that's where you expend your glory. The crucial momentum part of the game, because momentum is a word that's used there, but the crucial part of the game is how you mitigate your luck by using your glory, because glory in 99 cases is non-redeemable. Once it's gone, it's gone, and once it's gone, you can't then re-roll. So that really limits what you can actually do from that point. And when your commanders are exhausted, they're still in command, they just don't have that re-roll option. So another message for Keely. So played Apache and Hornet leaders decades ago, no interest in the system now. Field commander games, I'm just getting into a lot more decisions. Okay, Field Commander Alexander. So let's see. I played it completely. I played all four, I think it was 4 campaigns. I found a bit bland. Now I've seen, and I sold it. I have seen that there is the Napoleonic one. When I got the Alexander, I couldn't get hold of the Napoleonic one. That's why I got the Alexander, and I played it, and I was like, maybe it's a good thing that I didn't get the Napoleonic one, Field Commander Napoleon. However, I have seen it being played, and it does seem to have a few more decisions. Also, I know there is the new one, which is about Mr. Lee, Bobby Lee, and there's one on the Pacific Nemitz. Now, I think the Nemitz one, they're in a second edition because the first edition was a bit faulty. So I'm a little bit, again, through all the room here, there's just games, and piles of games, and I'm thinking, maybe one day, maybe not. If I want to play a solo game at the present moment, my reach out is Ambush. I might try Fields of Fire. I might try D-Day at Peleliu is the next ones I want to do. But I've got a message coming through at this time of night. I've got a Discord notification. Is there someone saying, I should have done some playtesting? Hold on there. Yeah, Discord. I use it a lot. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with this. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of playing of solo games, but I do like playing 2-player and oppose and such forth. One of the hardest parts is actually doing that with the real bits against somebody in the same room. Doesn't happen that often. I do have a friend who does play some of these games, and we will be playing Don in the Sacred Heart at some point during this week coming. So I'll get 2 games of that in the course of a week. But actually, things like Air and Armor and fighting formations and games of that ilk, it is pretty much at conventions. The next convention I'm going to at the present moment is Vanguard in October, which is near Reading. I've been to 2 of those so far. Great. A lot of fun. Played Ambush when initially released. Great game. Then if you only played it when it was initially released, I suggest play again because you will not remember the missions. I mean, I played mission 1 of that now twice, and with about 2 years in between, and you just go a different route, or even if you go the same route, you can't remember exactly what happened. It might invoke memories, but as soon as you start rolling another dice, and the German soldier survives or something like that, missions changed anyway. So yeah, maybe the general story, but yeah, it's definitely worth a revisit because it's such a blast to play. And in the battle hymn I'm playing at the present moment, I'm confronting something I had to confront before because the Germans didn't really fight in caves, so I'm confronting a cave. Spoiler alert, I'm confronting a second cave. And yeah, it's tricky. And what I really do like about it is that you just don't know. The enemy's completely hidden. Okay, you played the mission once and you sort of know roughly where the enemy are going to be. But again, you can go a different route. So it allows you to play the mission again. So yeah, I do like that feel of unknowability. Now, one of the games I brought to the channel recently, Panzer Group Guderian, I played it. It's a 2-player game, played it solo. But you know the reinforcement track, you know when units are arriving and such forth. So, and you can see all the units on the board. In something like Ambush, all right, totally different scale, but you don't know what units are on the board. You know there's the Japanese are going to be out there, or an ambush case of the Germans, but where they are, what their incentives are, what the actual scenario or mission designers had in mind, how well you're supported with your assets like artillery and such forth is unknown to you until you actually have to have that encounter. Again, for example, in the mission I'm playing in Battle Hymn at the moment, it's called In Reserve. My squad is to help or escort a bulldozer through some palm tree hexes to connect the beach to the island road. Now, notice the scenario title or mission title is In Reserve. So one would think that in reserve, there wouldn't be that many enemy around. There's 2 caves. What did the frontline guys do? Did they just ignore them? Did they miss them? Do the Japanese now coming out to, get themselves undercover and all the rest of it? I've got a radio. My squad leader's got a radio, but I can't seem to use it to contact. I've had an incoming call, but I'd love to make an outgoing call to say, can I have a bit of air support, please? But I've gone through the rules. I can't find anything that allows me to do that. But I've had an incoming call with a guy moaning, with my superior officer moaning at me. Yes, I understand. Well, most of my games from that period have gone. Life and family, I regret it now from your excitement. Do it again. I picked mine up, as I say, from Facebook. I had tried it to find it on eBay. It was at quite a price, I must admit. Whereas the one I picked up off eBay, off Facebook, the guy sold me that plus the 3 modules. Well, I've got them sitting right up there: Silver Star, Purple Heart, and Move Out. Plus the tank one, which I can't remember what it's called. No, it's gone. I picked up Battle Hymn separately, and that was at quite, in UK money, that was £50, so that wasn't too bad a price. Can I find Leatherneck though, which is the expansion for that? No. Now I know obviously they make less expansions than they do the original core module. I'd love to get the Leatherneck expansion, but I have not seen it on eBay. I think when I did originally look at Board Game Geek, it was way, way expensive. So I think once I finish there's 8 missions in Battle here. Once I finish that, that's probably going to be it. Joseph, okay, so I did mention this earlier in the video, but my initial thought of Patton's Best, that's a completely separate game. That's not the tank one. I think it's Open Fire is the tank one. I could go on BGG while I'm looking at this. Ambush, yeah, Open Fire. That was the tank one. I have got Patton's Best. I do keep meaning to bring in that to the channel as well. But that's got a really I played one No, I played 3 linked missions. I linked them together. I was planning to do the campaign that my tank got blown up badly. But it was sort of like one I was going to bring to the channel at some point, but it has got a really complex rule set. Open Fire is the ambush one. Yeah, I've just loaded up Wargame Geek down there. Going back to your question, Joseph, what do I think of Battle Hymn missions compared to ambush missions? Okay, so far I'm on my 3rd mission of Battle Hymn, and I've done 5 missions from ambush. I have enjoyed the ambush missions considerably more. The writing is tighter. For ambush, I find the Battle Hymn ones so far a little bit arbitrary, especially the 2nd scenario so far, where my guys just had to go and do as much damage to the airfield, and the Japanese Zero took off almost immediately. The game just ramped up so quickly. I didn't feel that the story developed well. And I'm having a little bit of the same with this mission 3, in that it ramps up so quickly. I missed condition 3 completely. Condition 1 went quickly to condition 2, and then it's gone straight to condition 4, which is the highest condition. And it's left me thinking, well, I haven't actually seen a Japanese soldier on the map. I've seen 2 caves. So yeah, a little bit, I wouldn't say disappointed, because it's still interesting. I'm still enjoying the game. It's still, if there was no ambush out there, Battle Hymn would be brilliant, but there is an ambush out there, and I do prefer the missions so far that I've played in ambush, and I will be doing another one of those soon. Going right back to my initial start of this rant, will I bring those to the channel? I don't know. I don't know how many of you people have watched this right from the beginning. I came on here saying that I was rather disappointed with the viewers, or the viewings, of my ambush and my Battle Hymn. There are 28 views. I still don't get it. 1,350, sorry, I keep saying 50, 1,393 subscribers and 28 views. Now, as I said, I don't think everyone's going to watch the same views. Not everyone of those subscribers will want to watch Battle Hymn. Someone subscribed maybe because I did something on the Storming the Gap and such forth. But I would still expect a bit more than that. And also the people that are actually doing or enjoying those videos, if they are subscribers, have they actually got the bell notified? Also, then I only get 6 likes. And you think, okay, you've watched the video, why aren't you liking it? It's just a click of a button. That's what I ranted about at the beginning. That's just a brief little recap if you just joined. Joseph, I thought Ambush did a good job of slowing building up the tension. Agreed. Absolutely spot on. As I say, Battle Hymn, I think in mission 2, that had 6 conditions. Let's have a look. I've got it in the box. I've got the, because I circle which ones are on it. There's the paragraph book, the rule book, the 6-page errata. Again, that's probably part of the problem. Charts, the cartridges. Okay, mission 3. Where's my mission 2? All my little sheets here. Mission 2. Yeah, there are 6 conditions. We only actually went up to condition 5. That's when I think I actually then decided to bug out and hide until, and there was a tank driving up and down on the coast there. It didn't seem to do anything other than stop me getting off the board. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to end the mission here, saying that it's the next day. My guys then leave, because that tank's not going to just keep driving. up and down. And it also had the Zero that just kept circling the airfield, strafing me at night. Yeah. I just thought it was rather... I mean, I enjoyed playing the game. And as I said, if there was no ambush, this would be best thing since sliced bread sort of thing. But there is. And I will want to play all the missions in it. And as I say, if I ever do manage to inherit or win the lottery, I will pick up Leathernecks from somebody. But my go-to from those two games will be Ambush. And as soon as I finish all the 8 missions in the original Ambush box, I'll then do Move Out and so forth. Yeah. So that was originally why I came on here. I was going to shoot an episode of Battle Hymn. That was the intention because I couldn't sleep tonight. I mean, I'm in the UK. It's currently now, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting to get tired again. My feet have calmed down because it was my feet that were causing, they were just, you're not going to sleep, Mr. Sibley. So I thought, okay, let's go and shoot a video. And then I saw my viewings, and I thought, this is just frustrating. Now, I don't expect thousands of views. I didn't come on here to get thousands of views, thousands of subscribers. Initially, I started the channel just to actually talk about games and play games and hopefully instruct people about how to play some of these games and encourage them to get them to the table. Did I think I would get 10 people listening to me? Yeah, I thought I might get 10 subscribers. Did I think I'd get 100? When I got the first 100, I was like, wow, I'm never going to get 100 people to sit in a room and listen to me dribble on, am I? Then I've got 1,000. All right, it took 2 years to do that. And we're now, I mean, the extra additional 393 has taken nearly another 2 years. It doesn't matter. And I get lots of feedback from people saying, yeah, we've enjoyed that, or we learned from that, or that's been interesting, or the way you described that, it's all encouraging. And that's great. But what I don't get is why, when someone does watch one of my videos, they don't click the like button. That's all it is. One of those. And if you're watching it on the screen, boop, one of those. It costs absolutely nothing. Now, it does promote the channel. We know that. The more subscribers you've got, helps. The more people that actually like the video, helps. If you're watching some of these videos, why not share it? You've got gaming buddies. Share the videos. I think, if I do my video analytics, which, I've got sitting next to me here. If I click my manage buttons, yeah, all right, the internet's a little bit slow. Come on then. It will show me analytics. I can click on what's called the dashboard, and it will show me that how many people share my videos over the whole period of time I've had it. And it's not a lot. I know you guys watch them, so why not, share them? In a previous video, you mentioned, this is from Joseph. This one. Yeah, I did. And I will. I mean, my copy is still in good nick. In fact, such good nick. Hold on there. It's unpunched. And yes, it's a 2-map game, but it's not really, is it? It's a 1-mapper. I will do, because 1-map games fit easy on the table. So I will one day punch this game. I played this quite a lot back in the 90s when it came out. Now, I haven't got the latest iteration from GMT or the US Civil War. I don't think I will pick up that, because I've got this and I know this works. So yes, I will at some point bring this to the channel. I have got so many games I do want to play, and that's definitely one of them. So yeah, I know. I mean, I mentioned earlier Fire in the Lake. I keep mentioning that I will do a playthrough of that from solo using the Triong expansion bots playing that as the NBA. There's only one of me, and there's so many games I do want to play. And again, this brings me back to what I started off. I can play these games a lot faster if I'm just playing them by myself. As in, set it on the board, play it. I could finish off a battle mission in 4 hours. But, once you start bringing the camera into it and the narrating into it and all the rest of it, that slows that process down. And if I'm getting 28 views on a channel, on a video, I start thinking, is it actually worth the effort? When I initially started the video, the channel, yes, it was worth the effort because I only had 10 subscribers and I was just learning how to do it. It was like, oh, how do I actually record? Oh, how do I do this in the camera? I've got that part sort of stuff. So, the new microphone. And again, this was purchased from you guys. From the I'd say the pittance. It is a pittance compared to obviously my day job. I didn't do this for the money. I mean, the money that I can earn from the channel. So the last thing I bought was Mr. President, which I've now brought to the channel. And that's the way I look at it. Is, if I ever say one of my videos ever went viral and I earned £100,000 from it, yeah, right. There might be a rethink, but we're in a niche of a niche of a niche. Okay, we are gamers. There's a lot of people playing games now. We're in the golden age of games, and I play some of these games at the present moment. I played Terraforming Mars last weekend with my daughter. A group has played the One Ring role-playing game, which I'm doing solo on the channel as well. So I play lots of other different games other than war games, and I bring some of those to the channel. I brought Vantage as a game I'm playing with my partner at the present moment. This is set up on the table in the other room. And so I enjoy playing lots of other different games, not just war games. But the war games, gaming is a niche. Board gaming is a niche. Then you've got war games is a niche as well. And the war game is split between miniatures and board war games. And even inside that, there's other little niches as well, World War II, Napoleonic, etc., etc. So I know that, the amount of people who go and watch any particular one video is going to be minimal. But I would still expect, considering the amount of people that are subscribed, I would expect them, if they've got their little bell activated. So if you are a subscriber, do remember to have the activation bell, because that will let you know when I upload a video. And again, I don't expect someone to watch one of my videos straight away. Don't drop everything. But after it's been up for about 3 or 4 days, I do expect a bit more than, especially with something like Ambush or Battle Hymn, which are a fairly staple thing I've been doing, more than 28 viewers. Now, actually, I've just done an update on that. It's 35 views now. Okay, with 9 likes. So again, that's a little bit confusing. If you like a video, you've watched it all, it's the minimum you can do. Just like it, because that helps the algorithm. I'm not the algorithm expert. I've watched a few YouTube videos with people who talk about the algorithm and how's the best thing and such forth, and how the algorithm works. They all have different conflicting approaches, and I'm not too bothered about that. All I want to do is reach as many people as I can and let them know how to play some of these games. I'm not going to sit here and do unboxings. Lots of other channels do that. That's not what I do. I might unbox the game as I'm sort of giving my initial thoughts of it, but I'm not just going to sit there saying, this has got this in it, this has got this in it, this does that, and that's it. No, I'm not going to do reviews unless I've played the game. I need to know if what I'm saying makes sense. And the only way I can make sense is by actually physically playing it. And then I'll do a review of the game. I did that with the Donning the Sacred Heart. I've done that with Pan's Group Guderian, though the review was pretty much at the end of the videos I've done on it. So, yeah. So, in summary, I've been yakking now for an hour and a half. Okay, I'm starting to get tired again now, so my feet have calmed down. So I think I'm going to be ending this. Is there anyone who wants to add anything, ask any questions? I've got a few people there. This was completely unannounced. I did actually ask on my community tab with people. I did a what do you call it? A poll. Yeah, I'm clicking on my community tab now. I know some of my reviews. Yeah, some of the messages talking about Panzer Blitz and such forth. So where's the community tab? Yeah, this is just one of those YouTube things. You can go on content and then you go on somewhere else and then you go on posts, which is different from community. Okay. So where's my poll? I've lost my poll. This is size compare new game pictures. Okay, can't find me poll because it then puts them out of order, which I never quite understand either. But I asked the question: Does anyone want me to do a monthly one of these, which I could then advertise and such forth? And the poll was 53% and saying yes, and 47 saying no. So it's like, okay, is there any point then? But this was complete just coming on and yakking. Keely 1214, what is your most anticipated game? Okay, so I've got a few games on P500. Got 3 Days of Gettysburg from them. I've got the Pandora one, the new one from them coming out too. What else? I've got another one on P500. I can't remember what it is. That's half a problem as well, isn't it? Yeah, I've also I'll tell you what, I can go on GMT and remind myself of my P500s, and then I've got Air and Armour. Oh yeah, the other P500 is the Field of Fire Volume 3. I've got from Compass Games Air and Armour 5th Corps, and yeah, I think that's about it. So I don't have a long string because I've got so many games still unplayed. Now, of those, which is the most anticipated? Awaiting. Yeah, that's the one. Is that my most anticipated? Well, I love the designer. Whose name again? Memory. Come on. What's the designer of Awaiting? Enemy Ardennes, Enemy Kharkov. He's done. I've got a load of his games, and my mind has gone completely blank. In fact, he did Ambush, didn't he? His name should be on the box of Ambush. How can I forget his name? Because he's one of my favourite designers. Battlefield. Yeah, but how could I have forgotten his name? That's an age thing. That is an age thing. My birthday's next week. I'm turning 61. I have noticed that there has been a slight forgetfulness, and that's definitely it. John Buttercliffe, yes, he did the Pandora. I didn't know anything about the Pandora game, but when I saw Awaiting, it was a re-evolution of his Pandora game. I picked up the Pandora, and I shot some videos of it on the channel, and I didn't finish them. Now, why didn't I finish them? I had what was called the incident, and that was a year ago. In fact, it's a year and a half ago, where I was in hospital for a month. I just haven't got back to it. Same problem happened with the American Civil War game I was doing. Sitting over there, Into the Woods. I shot 53 videos of that. And I do want to get back to it. It's still on the log files and such forth because I was playing that on Vassal. And I do mean to get back to it. Same problem with all these games. But yeah, after the incident, I went deep into Fields of Fire. And I still want to play some of those. I haven't even touched Vietnam and that. But so yes, back to the initial question. So 3 days of Gettysburg. Really looking forward. Now I've had that twice, maybe even 3 times. And each time I've sold it for various reasons. I'm now back into the American Civil War series. I'm really looking forward to getting that one. Away team, yes, really looking forward to getting that one. Fifth Corps, I'm enjoying the air and armor, excellent system, so I'm really looking forward to getting that one. So, in short, the answer to your question, I don't really have a most anticipated because they're all. I want to get hold of them. I'm just going to go. I'm sure I've got something else. GMT games, because you can click on your P500s, because I have in the past been one of those people that's gone, ooh, and bought the same game twice. I know. How can you do that? That's a buffoon maneuver, isn't it? Yeah. Hold on, I'm just signing myself in to GMT. But apparently I'm not the only person who does that. Right. Okay. All right. I'm just saving the password. My account. Okay. What have I got on P500? Because this is where probably I'll go, oh, P500 orders. So 3 days of Gettysburg. Yes, that's not shipped yet. Okay, but I paid for that, so that's cool. Combat Commander. That's not the. That's the island hopping. So that's one extra for Combat Commander. Yeah, not too bothered about that one. Cancelled that. That was the Men of Iron tri-pack. I thought it's another system. Do I really want to get into it? Stepping into Hell. Deleted. What was that one? Can't even remember that one. Microverse, cancelled that. Fields of Fire Volume 3, really looking forward to that arriving. Awaiting, looking forward to that arriving. So yeah, so there is only 3 on the P500. So all 3 of those I'm looking forward to, and all 3 of those, and the Fifth Corps from Compass Games. Yeah, I would like to bring to the channel if I can keep myself motivated to do the channel, because that's the hardest thing. As I mentioned right at the beginning of the video, work at the present moment is way over here due to being exam season. But I do find it discouraging when, I shoot these videos and I expect there's going to be a degradation on the amount of people watching it. Episode. So yeah, mission 3, 81 views, 60 views, 21 now 35. It is, I wouldn't say soul destroying is a bit hard, but yeah, discouraging. So okay, if no one's watching, why am I filming it? Why am I making it? That's just play the game. And I could go the easy route. Let me do the unboxing videos and get 300 views. Yeah, could do that. I don't watch that many unboxings. I'll watch an unboxing with a review. I did the channel to make playthroughs, show how the game's played, why we play it. This is how to, and go into the rules to always encourage you guys to either get the game or play the game yourself if you've already got it. That was what I did the channel for. I love talking about games. It's I've now done nearly an hour and 40 minutes just talking about games. I enjoy playing them, and I wanted to spread that enthusiasm out now. But if I'm not getting a reciprocation, it does make it tricky. But so hence why this has got the thing that says rant over. I will continue to make videos, of course I will. But all I can say is, if any of you have watched this, think of it from the other side when you're watching a video that anybody's made for you out there, and you've sat down, you've watched it, and you've either enjoyed it or, you know, you're like indifferent. Just hit that like button, because all it does is it tells the algorithm, let other people watch it. I mean, I did have a comment somewhere about 2 years ago. I don't remember who it was. They made the comment, it says, you've made an ambush video. This is my favorite game of all time, and you've been making them for 1.5 years, and I knew nothing about them. Yeah, it was his favorite game, and he discovered me on an off chance, and he watched every single ambush video I filmed at that time and gone through them, but he didn't know anything about it. Now, again, how does the algorithm work? That someone who likes, he might have been looking, searching for other ambush things and such forth. Yeah, it's weird. So liking the videos is probably the easiest way, because it costs you nothing. It's pressing a button. Subscribing is a little bit more involved. If you want to subscribe, again, that also helps the algorithm and so on. And then if you do subscribe, do hit or press the notification bell, because again, that lets you know. I have got channel membership. I have 8 channel members at the moment. I really appreciate that they've come on board. I have shot a few channel only videos. I'm not going to do that often. I'd like as many of my videos to be out there as possible, but they're supporting the channel, which allows me to buy more of these boxes to bring to the channel. Have you ever live streamed a video game? This is a question from Joseph. What do you actually mean by a video game? Are you talking, you know, a actual computer game? If that's what you're referring to, then the answer is no. And to be fair, I'm not. I have a few computer war games. In fact, what have I actually got sitting here? I got the Lock and Load tactical one. I've got Second Front. I actually did shoot, but it wasn't live ones. I shot the video and then released it, which is similar to ASL. I just didn't enjoy it. I played Conflict of Heroes, a computer game, not on the channel, but this is before the channel. So Conflict of Heroes is a system I was really into for quite a while. Various reasons why I stopped getting into it. I think that might be mentioned in one of my earlier videos some time back. But I had got the computer game version of it, and to be honest, it was as dumb as pig shit. It really was. It was awful. The AI on it. Okay, so that was playing it at normal level. So I thought, let's ramp it up. Okay, so I took it to maximum level it could go. Okay, and it didn't play any smarter. It just had more stuff for me to kill. And no. Now I know that was probably back in 2017, 18-ish. There are better games out there. The AIs will be significantly improved on them, but a lot of them just leave me cold. I honestly can't answer why. I like playing, solo games. If I beat a solo game, it's got the same response as the computers, like you've won the game. Steel Panthers from Matrix Games is a squad leader knockoff. Yeah, I stopped playing squad leader in 2015. Festung Budapest broke me. I think it was a combination of Bloodreach Tarawa and Festung Budapest. I was playing a lot of ASL. The 2013 to 2014, I played way over 100 scenarios in that year. So that's more than 2 a week. And I was enjoying them, yeah, and such was. And I played Bloodridge Terroir, and you got 3 different kinds of stand. I thought, I never played the campaign. That I played all through the scenarios, and then I got Festung Budapest, and played about 4 or 5 of the scenarios of that. Didn't play the campaign game of that either. But these, I think, from memory, 7 pages of embankment rules, railway embankments. And I thought, this is bonkers. Each scenario had 6 or 7 special rules. Now, I'm used to special rules for a scenario, but they're normally 1 line or 2 lines. These were like full paragraphs. So it was changing the scenario quite considerably. And I was like, no. And I thought, I'll put it on hiatus. I was just starting to get into Band of Brothers at the time, which was a game that I could play with my brother. A game I could play with a friend and say, here you go, there's a 20-page rule book, rather than ASL, which is, here you go, there's a 200-page rule book. Yeah, straight away, there's more people. Yes, I know with ASL, I could go on Vassal and get a game immediately. Go onto any of the forums and say, anyone want to play a game of ASL? Yeah, quite easily. I also noticed, well, one of the last conventions I went to, there's the scene, the ASL scene was different from when I first started playing it. Yes, it was competitive, but it was anally competitive. Yeah, you had people that were able to quote rules verbatim, fair enough, well done. Or they'd quote a rule verbatim but miss out a comma or a full stop, which changed the context of the sentence. People that were knocking, well, I played a game and the guy knocked his dice tower as the first dice had settled and it was a 6. They knocked their dice tower so they could re-roll both dice again. And I'm thinking, I don't want to play in this kind of environment. So I stopped. And yes, I do miss playing some of ASL. I occasionally still dabble in Sassel, but no, it took me out of the scene completely, and I haven't really wanted to go back. Occasionally a little twinge. It's like smoking, I suppose. I mean, I used to smoke way back in the day. I stopped in 1990, and still, even now, I fancy the occasional cigarette. Maybe I still fancy the occasional ASL scenario. Computer games, Joseph. Yeah, as I've just said, I try. I use Tabletop Simulator because it doesn't feel like a computer game. I know it's on the computer. I know it uses this. I know it uses the keyboard, but somehow it does have, maybe because its mouse is a hand. I don't know, but the way it has the gravity affect the counter. So if I put the counter down, it might not go perfectly square. It's slightly off kilter or something like that. Mr. President, I noticed with Tabletop Simulator, its biggest downside for me is the counters snap to the right place. I don't like it, but it's the only way I'm probably going to play Mr. President is using Tabletop. So I might look at the Vassal module now on that one. I mean, yes, I'd like to play these games, board games physically. Computer games, I work all day on a computer and I just don't really, I know I'm talking on a computer now, but I don't really want to play on the computer as well. The biggest manifestation of that I had was when I was actually playing a play-by-email game of the OSS system. It was a small Syrian World War II version set in Syria and Libya with the British. I can't remember. It's one of the introductory modules anyway. And I'd get a move from my opponent, And even though it was still a small module, it took me 2 hours to do my turn. And then I sent back the email, because I was playing by email. And I thought, I've just come home from a day's work where I worked on the computer all day. And I've now just spent another 2 hours moving counters around on a screen. And I thought, I don't want to do this. Now, play by email. If the turns are like I can do in 5 minutes or 8 minutes or anything, I did up front doing that. And that was fine because it's boom, 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 done. I could do that when I'm having a morning cup of coffee. But to do it for 2 hours, no thanks. No. Anyway, I was going to finish this about 20 minutes ago. I'm still rabbiting on. So thank you very much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a rant. I know I've been, talking about things that you guys maybe not want to hear, because I'm feeling a little bit. It's not even jaded, because I'm still keen to play the games. I'm a little bit frustrated that things that I put time and effort into are not being or seemingly enjoyed by you guys as much as I thought you would. So that sort of makes sense. I don't know if I'm not doing things right. I get to say a lot of comments saying, thank you, that was great, that was interesting. You, Kitty, have just said that your playthrough is a great value when people watch much later. Yes, that's, I do get comments. A lot of them around Ambush or Fire in the Lake saying, oh, this is a great playthrough. It taught me how to start the game or get the game to the table. And that, when I get those kind of messages, that's when I go, great, that's job done. Exactly what I've done what I'm doing here. To get people to play the games, to learn the rules. Yeah, for some reason, I do have a brain that can actually read a rule set, and I can get a picture of how to play the game straight away. It's getting a little bit harder, again, the age thing, but I'm in our little group of players. None of them are really war gamers. My daughter's not a war gamer. She's starting to dabble now, but she's not. None of them really read the rules. They let me do that, and then I tell them, how to play the rules. I don't do rule, when we start to play a game. I'm not a great one for saying, this is rule 13.2. Rule 13.2 states that you do this. No, I do my rule teachers like I do in the videos. Start playing the game, give them the basics. Yeah, this is what they are. But as we play, this is what you can do here. This is how you can do that. You can do this here, you can do that there, and so on. And I expand on it as we're playing the game. And I do not play the game anywhere near compared. I mean, when we're playing new games and such forth, and I've read the rules and so on, I'm guaranteed to go nowhere near winning the game, because I'm too busy explaining it and such forth. But by the time we're playing their second or third game, that's when I can start playing competitively with them, and they now know the game. And that's what I try to do with the channel. I want to show you guys how the game is played by playing it. And as I'm going through the game, I'm saying the rules. So yeah. Keely, so your most look forward game is Pandora. Yeah. I really did enjoy what was in that basic Ares magazine game, what I played of it. I do want to get back to it, but I know that Pandora seems to be taking quite a bit of time to get out, hasn't it? The other game from his Mr. Butterfield, got it this time, that I enjoy playing, and yeah, Space Corps 2025 2300. I've actually bought the expansion for that called Ventures. I do want to get that back to the table. I did bring that out video on the channel again. A lot of people are interested, and then slowly declining, which you expect. I wouldn't mind getting that back to the channel with the ventures. Now, I said my daughter's coming today, and we're playing Dawn in the Sacred Heart. Maybe I'll do Space Core with her. It is my turn to choose the game. We alternate. Last time it was her choice, we played Terraforming Mars. The time before, when it was her choice, we played the Ark Nova, the zoo game. When it's my choice, last time we did Dawn in the Sacred Hearts. Maybe I'll do something different. Yeah, Space Core. That's interesting. Or Space Empire. Space Empires. It's not Space Empires, is it? It's just Space Empires 4X, yes. Yes, that's sitting over there with all the expansions and such for saying, ooh, you haven't played us in a while? Yeah, and I've got Enemy Auction Ardennes and Enemy Auction Kharkov sitting there. Ooh, play us. I mean, I did do Ardennes. I haven't done Kharkov. I have said I'll do Kharkov. I haven't done it yet. What else have I got sitting, floating around? Combat Command. I did that briefly. I think 4 episodes. I did one scenario of that. I said, I'll bring out some more of that to the channel. Have I? No. Even my most favourite game of all time. Now, that's a question for you. Do you remember what was my favourite game of all time? I have mentioned it a few times on the channel. Oh, let me get it for you. Here we go. Up front. Why is it my favourite game of all time? It's fun. It plays fast. And every time it's totally different. You could play the first scenario A, with just Germans and Americans. I mean, there are Russians as well in the core set. But if you just play that first scenario with just Germans and Americans, every single time it'll be different. Every single time it will be tense and exciting. It's a 10 out of 10. I'd rate it 11 out of 10 if I could. But yeah, I have only brought 2 missions of that or 2 scenarios to that, scenario A and scenario B. I keep saying I'll do scenario C at some point. And that's my favourite game. Sixth Fleet's still sitting there. I've done 5 or 6 scenarios of that. Want to bring more of that to the channel. I brought War and Peace 1812. That's sitting on the shelf there. Breakout Normandy I want to bring back at some point. Hannibal, I did a little dabble of that. I would like to bring that, but that needs to be opposed. It's not a solo game at all. And you can't, I suppose you could play it two-handed solo, but it's not something I'd want to try. Panzer Blitz, I did 8 mission situations for Panzer Blitz. They're not called scenarios or missions. I've got Panzer Leader and I've got Arab-Israeli Wars sitting there going, what about us? Not enough time. Too many games. How many games from Ares magazines do I own? That's a good question. If you'd asked me that 2 years ago, I would have said none. Now, I picked up Pandora. Then there was a follow-on to Pandora. Can't remember what that was called. And then I've got the Steel Rat or something. I think that's it. I might have another one, but I can't remember what it is. So I haven't got many. I haven't played the Steel Rat one, and I haven't played the Pandora expansion. I've only played the Pandora halfway through. So I would like to finish the Pandora fully at some point. I keep saying that, don't I? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And yes, with new games on the way, I do keep looking at eBay for old games that I want to bring to. That's how I got, the Panzer Group Guderian, and such forth. So I keep looking at old games. Frederick the Great sitting there. I did the initial look at it. I've worked out that does need to be 2 players. I can't work out a method of surprising myself in that one like I did in Panzer Group Guderian. Wreck of the Pandora, and the Return of the Stainless Steel Rat. Thunderbolt GMT Ancient World System coming up by any chance? Right. Yes. Okay. I had the original one, which was the Rise of the Roman Republic. And then I bought the Carthage when that came out as well. And I played, I think, most of the actual scenarios from the Rise of the Roman Republic and enjoyed them. I did. But I just couldn't get it to the table. And I'd never played a scenario from Carthage at all. And the Roman Republic one was quite small. It was only, I think there was only one mapper. But the follow-on, the Carthage one, was considerably bigger. And yeah, so when Thunderbolt was put up as a P500, I did P500 it. And then I cancelled it for that very reason, is that I've got no one to play it with. Yes, I would like to bring it to the channel at some point. If I ever get it, I just can't see me getting it. There's too much other games sitting out here wanting to do it. I like the system. It worked. It was interesting. But it's a game that I would like to actually have someone to play it with. So the answer is to your question, Don Carper, is unfortunately no, because of that very restriction. That I have played and dabbled the system. I can't. It was back in the mid-90s, I think the original came out, and say Rise of the Roman Republic, and the ones with the Sam Knight scenarios were good. The Pyrrhic scenario was good. I think even the Hannibal, they were all good, but they weren't great, if you see what I mean. They weren't. I mean, I was playing consistently with one other guy. He got, I won't say bored. He didn't get bored of it. He just said, let's do something else. And then when you do something else, and then you never got back to it, and such forth. So the short answer is M4 is no. You haven't mentioned any MMP games that I've noticed. Well, I did mention a big MMP game, ASL, which I'm not going to go back to. There's enough people playing ASL and channels out there that cover ASL in ad infinitum that, you know, why would you want me mentioning ASL? I haven't touched ASL since 2015, though I do play it a lot, and I do still occasionally play a Cecil mission, but I won't bring it to the channel. Any other MMP? I'm a bit out of touch with what other games they have out there, to be perfectly honest. No one's suggested any to me. I think the last MMP game I played was, that would be based on one of the area games. It was a Japanese one, Kwaku Ridge or something, based in Guadalcanal, and it was good. I haven't gone back to it, but it was fun. No, there was another one I was thinking, Nemesis, but that was Legion Games. So yeah, no, MMP. They also seem to be quite expensive for what you get in the box. I mean, GMT's knocking out the park for value for money. I mean, I look at the Fields of Firebox, which is again just sitting here. Ooh, you know, it's a tome. And what's it? I mean, the same with Mr. President. What you get in here for your money is fantastic. MMP, not so much. So yeah, MMP. I couldn't name, other than ASL, OCS, which was the gamers, I haven't touched. I didn't really like the OCS. I know there was there we go. There's the battalion combat system. Never played any. I've had some people say, would you like to learn? And the answer is yes, but it's time. So I might dabble in that at some point, but nothing's ever sort of grabbed me from them recently. I think you mentioned that you didn't like the great campaigns of the American Civil War, which is from MMP. That is true. I did not like the great campaigns of the American Civil War. Why didn't I like the great campaigns of the American Civil War? Well, beautiful maps. Absolutely stunning to look at. Pretty boring gameplay. I played it with 3 or 4 different people, and just felt, and it's a long time since I played them. I mean, they might have tweaked the rules since then, but what I remember was just lots of shuffling of counters, similar to the Napoleonic series by Zucker. You've got attrition system and such. Well, again, I could be talking absolute bollocks here, to be honest. It's a long time since I played. I just remembering it being dull. Beautiful to look at. The counters were a bit bland, but you know, fair enough. But the actual gameplay that I remember just did not bring it to life. The American Civil War to me, from a campaign perspective. And in a similar way as Zucker's campaign series, which I've played, Napoleon at Bay, 1809, and another one, can't remember, the Leipzig one, Struggle of the Nations. No, I feel like an accountant when I'm playing them, you know. Now, I don't know what an accountant feels like because I'm not an accountant, but you know, it's just bean counting. And I know that the saying is, you know, generals, real strategists are, you know, it's all about logistics. I understand that. And when I get into the history, it's interesting how the supply routes and attrition rates and all the rest of it is fascinating. But I do like the maneuver and the feel, rather than saying I've got 14 factors here and 2 factors there, and I've got that. No, you know, I don't like that kind of crunching. So again, remembering about the great battles in American Civil War, I could be doing it complete disservice, but from what I remember back in the days, now was that Stonewall Jackson's Way, and there was another one that I did, but they just didn't grab me. For that reason, say I saw one at where was it? At last convention I went to, being played again. The map, wow, the detail, just the look of it was fantastic. But then the counters, and I was like, yeah. And then just listen to a bit of their gameplay. It just didn't seem to be. It just didn't grab me. But then again, what a boring world if we all like the same games, wouldn't it? So yeah. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for listening to an old fart ramble on and rant on. Thank you for the 11 of you who have liked the video. Hopefully a few more will do after I finish doing this. Do I still intend... Here we go, another excellent question. Do I still intend to cover Frederick the Great? It's up over there. I've read the rules twice. I've set up the first scenario, the intro scenario, and I've looked at it and gone, what to do? There's not much, what's the word I'm looking for? Terrain. There's the cities and such forth on the map. it looks interesting. The combat system looks fascinating. But I did mention earlier that I can't work out a way to play it two-handed solo, like I did with PGG. I use a card system that I work on, because I don't know the period A well enough, and B the game well enough. I can't think of a way to actually play it two-handed solo. I don't like knowing exactly what the other side's going to do. Because then it's like, well, I know this side's going to do that, so therefore they can counter that, and they can do that, and then they'll counter that, and then boom, I get bored at that point. I need to have something that I'm not quite sure what the other side's going to do. If you're even playing a two-player game solo, that's what I did with PGG. I used the cards to actually determine how aggressive either side was going to be. So the other player, when I was playing them, didn't know, what's the Soviets going to do next? Are they going to pull back? Are they going to stand, move forward? With the Frederick the Great, I don't know quite how to do that yet. So I actually would like to play it two-player. So then it's trying to find a player who wants to play it. So I was going to wait until the end of the exam series, then put out a little advert on BGG. Well, someone like to play this from Vassal. So I can then get a feel for the game, and maybe even do the logs of the game, like I've done with quite a lot of the other games. Log file of the game. Ask the person I do get eventually to play it with, do you mind me moving these onto log file that I can then bring onto the channel, and then I can discuss the game. So I know that's a long rambling answer. So the essentials is, yes, I want to. B, it won't be solo until I understand the game. And C, it will be after the exam series. So we're talking earliest will be July. So yeah, there we go. Any other questions, anybody? It's been absolutely, I didn't expect anyone to be on here at this time, but then again, in UK, we're coming up till 5 a.m. I just got on here just to have a rant, really. But, I'm getting questions. It's been absolutely enjoyable from that perspective, which again encourages me to make more videos. So do you think I should, if any of you are still here would like to make a quick answer, do you think I should do this on a monthly basis? Actually plan it rather than just come on here and go blah, 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 blah. Let me know in the comments. If you're still here, if you're still watching now, do so. You make comments after I've actually closed down. Or if you're new to watching the video and you picked it up because it's come up on your screen, screen as an option to watch, and you're still here, let me know, because I can talk games till the cows come home. So, but I'm going to wish you all a good night now. Well, a good morning. I'm going to go back to bed and hopefully actually get some sleep. Until next time, I've got to work out how to actually close this thing down. There we go. There's a button there. There's my mouse. There's my mouse. Until next time, play games. Have fun. And bye, Internet.